I have the problem of like, I know what I want, but I cannot explain it, and I just need to hear it. And it's just kind of hard to put into words like how someone can get closer to what you hear in your head if you don't know how to explain it.
This podcast is about your journey in music, and we've heard your story, but I'd love to touch on it a little bit because I re-listened to it. I have some follow-up questions, and obviously we'll talk about your new EP, Heartbroken and Milking It. Love it.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Well, so Langhorne, Pennsylvania. Tell me a little bit about that, and we'll just kind of. I know there's a Sesame Street. What is it? A Sesame Street?
Like, yeah, it's like a
like a
Sesame
theme
place.
park.
Yeah, and it's like pathetic. It's like literally only like it's like so weird. It's next to the mall, and it's like it's so tiny. And then there's like a Denny's right there, like some restaurant, but it's like it's not really like what you would think of when you go to Disney World or something. It's kind of like very tiny. And then it's just a lot of like, so you'll have that and it's all like developed land, and then you'll go like maybe 10 minutes the other way and it will just be like farmland.
Okay.
So I live in a very weird area where it's like if you go 5 minutes one way, it's gonna be like developed, and like you're gonna be closer to Center City, Philadelphia, and then you go the other way, and you could see a sheep. So
right,
it makes no sense. Yeah, that's pretty much how I describe Langhorne.
Is that like a spot that people would work? Like, was some kid from like your math class working as like, I don't know, Grover or something?
Yeah.
So,
It
okay.
was like, oh, that was a trash truck.
All
Basically,
good.
it's like the theater kids, they're always working there, and they're always like Big Bird. And I had like beef with the guy who played Big Bird. So it's like weird petty drama like that, where you'll just be like, but they just work there. Like you can't hate. It's so strange. It's like very small town drama.
Okay.
I kind of miss the small town drama. It was kind of fun.
Well, when did you start singing? I know you were in choir in high school.
Yeah, I was in choir. I don't have the traditional, like, I always wanted to be a singer, and like I knew this was my life passion, because I didn't. I just needed to be good at something, and I would just try everything out. And I watched a video on YouTube once, and it was a girl named Bianca Ryan on America's Got Talent when I was like 7, and she was like 11 at the time. And I was like, that's so awesome. Like, it would just be so cool to open your mouth and sound good. So I'm going to do that. And then I would open my mouth, and it wasn't terrible what noises came out. So I was like, maybe I should pursue this. But then God gave me, he put me in a little predicament. I had stage fright, a very bad stage fright.
And you found that out pretty early, like 7?
I found that out when my mom would try and force me to sing on stages, because she's like, you're good. And I would sob, like doing there's videos of me at my first talent show in 5th grade. And I'm like I'm stiff as a board, and I'm looking down and I'm not moving, like my stage presence, very minimum, not there at all. And then I just kind of went to high school, was very scared, really didn't get, people would have to force me to get solos and sing. And then that's where it seemed like a good idea to audition for American Idol and sing in front of millions of people. Because I
wouldn't take you as somebody that would have stage fright, just because like if you watch you on American Idol, like for example, like when you come out and you played your own original song as your like audition, you were so like happy and like, talkative and witty and quick. Like even with Katy Perry, you're like, well, you're Katie with a K, and I'm, you know what I mean? Like it was just, it's crazy to me to think that you were very, that you had stage fright, in the sense that like, I feel like you're very open.
I literally don't know how that happened. It's like a new person. I remember before I auditioned that day, they made you line up at 6 a.m. And I vomited. Like I literally threw up on the streets of New York. And then I was like, Oh my gosh, I think my AirPods died. Did they just die? Hello? Can
No,
you
I
hear
hear you.
me?
I hear you. Do you hear me?
Oh, yeah, never mind. I just
Okay.
had a mini panic attack.
Oh,
Um,
good. Sounds.
I threw up on the streets because I was so nervous that and then I just got back up and I literally told the cameras that I'm like, hi guys, I just threw up. And they were like, you're insane. But I was just like trying to find a way to cope with like I've never felt my heart beat so fast. And like, that's why I would cry so much because I was so anxious that when I would get like a yes, it was like such a relief because I'm like, I don't have to be nervous anymore. It's done. And I would just sob. Like, I'm just like,
Do you still have that feeling when you perform, or is that kind of dissipated now?
it's no, it's like I'll still get like, a little like flutter in my heart, like, oh,
Uh-huh.
I'm going on stage, but I don't have to be like bribed to go. It's not as intense. I've
Sure.
definitely American Idol definitely made me get it all out of my system because once you forget your lyrics and
Right.
once you go on a tour where you like forget words and like technical difficulties, I was always constantly embarrassing myself, and it's that thing I have a dialogue with myself that's like it can't be any worse than that. So you're doing great.
Well, you were. I would never, like I said, I would never know that you had any sort of stage fright just because of the energy that you bring when you come out, like, and just like how quick-witted you are.
Oh, thank you so much. It means
Yeah.
so much. I've worked really hard.
Yeah, you're great. You do play guitar, obviously. Was that the first instrument you learned how to play?
No, I
Okay.
tried piano.
How old are
Um,
you when you learned piano or tried to learn piano?
oh, it was two ages. I tried at 2 and then I
Learned it.
quit.
Okay.
Mm,
Tried at
Like I
2 years
tried.
old?
Yeah, I was in lessons and
How do
I
you teach a
quit.
2-year-old how to play piano?
Oh, candy. Whenever I'd leave the lesson, she would just give me like candy and like at this point, and I quit because my biggest regret. I wish my mom forced me to stay because I was like, I don't want to go. I'm too tired. And she's like, well, if you don't go, you're done. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I didn't care. And I tried again at 13. But how my brain works, I think, very black and white, very
Uh-huh.
extremes. And if I'm not perfect at something in 2 days, I quit. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not playing, like, I'm not Beethoven yet. So this sucks. And then I picked up guitar and I wanted to quit guitar too. But my mom did push me through that one, which I'm
Okay.
so thankful for. But I tried every music. Guitar is the only one I really learned, and the other instruments, I just. Why does everyone drive the loudest vehicles in LA? It's something about this road where
Oh, I grew up in
everyone's.
San Diego. I get it. Trust me.
Um, yeah, I tried bass, drums, piano, guitar just stuck.
Okay. And with guitar, were you writing songs right away? Because obviously you play an original for your audition there, which is just mind blowing in itself.
Well, thank you. I was not. I It came later on. I tried to write a song. My first song was god awful. I wanted to be Taylor Swift. Like I literally wanted to be Taylor Swift. And so I tried to write love songs and they're god awful. And then I took like a break. And then for some reason I wrote the song I auditioned with, and then I just kind of stayed. But I
Mhm.
wasn't writing lyrics all the time. They would just be a thing of like maybe every 4 months I'd just write a song and I'm like, oh, there it is. Like it was never like a thing I practiced. It would just kind of happen. But I was really good at BSing English essays because I was homeschooled. So
Oh,
I feel like that's where I really practiced my writing, not in songwriting, but just writing
writing in general for
essays.
school.
Yeah, I could literally like procrastinate and have like a 4-page paper due, and then like 2 hours before, I knew the big words. I knew how to make a sentence like last and go on forever.
Wow. Well,
I
I mean, that's a skill set to have, right? To be able to creatively write. Obviously, that translate directly into what you're doing.
Yeah, I think it helped out. Oh, I'm so sorry about noise.
About what? Oh, it's all good. I get it. Trust me. Don't worry about it. How long have you been in LA? Did you move back, or were you living there when you moved home during the pandemic?
Well, I attempted to move here before the pandemic, and I lived here
Okay.
for 8 weeks, and then the world ended. And then I moved back home. So I've been attempt two since May.
Okay. I've done two since May. I like it. And when last time we talked, like I said, you had Play God was coming out, and you obviously had The Sad Vegan was already out as well. So
Yes.
what, like between then, what's been going on with you? Like obviously a lot. You've put out a record. You did an amazing music video I want to talk to you about as well with Therapy. But that's such a cool video. But
Thank you.
yeah. So tell me where you talked about how last time, COVID kind of like wrecked your creativity. Were you able to work through that? Like how you said you had to like pick fights with your boyfriend and stuff. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yes. Well, that boyfriend is now my ex. So that gave me tons of material. So it's like, thank you. Thank you, God.
Okay.
I think, I did get out of that creative rut, and I got a lot of material from that.
And is that what honed into this new EP?
Well, the new EP has been kind of like in the works for since 2019 with like songs and everything, but definitely the next project is where you'll get that era for sure.
Okay. So this current record, a lot of these songs were written over the course of those were done prior to the lockdown happening?
A lot of them were I'm thinking of this. A lot of them were 2019, Funeral Therapy, Push You Away. They were all 2019, and then Play God was 2020. Love on, are those my songs of the
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Love on the Moon was 2022. So yeah, in 2020, I don't even know when these songs were written.
It's all good. Yeah. But and then were they all put together or like recorded over the since we spoke, or was that a project already kind of ready?
Well, it was more like the production. Like I had like the vocals recorded, and it was just figuring out like production.
Mm-hmm.
And so Therapy and like they were all like just getting final touches done and everything. But I had a pretty clear idea of what songs I wanted to include on the project.
Was it hard to work over, like, what were you doing the production over Zoom or working with producers that way? How was that?
Over Zoom, very hard. Or what you'd have to do is you'd have to it would be very like back and forth. So sometimes you wouldn't even work with them on Zoom. They'd send you a version and then you write notes, and then you send it back, and it would be very much like back forth. So something that could have taken like, if you were just actually together, like in person, like a couple of days, could take like months.
Oh, just because you're sending stuff back and forth. So, and what you'd have to send it, listen to it, try to figure out your part, send it back, wait for them, send it back.
Like find a specific note, and you're like, at 110, there's a weird noise here. At 112, you need to raise the EQ a little bit, and it would just be like all these like little like notes. And then if they'd send it back, like, is this good? And you'd be like, no, at this part you need to do the, and it would just very tedious.
Do you help? You must be pretty involved then in every aspect of the songwriting and this how the song turns out. It sounds like.
Yeah, I'm more the songwriting part, because with production, I'm a little more like it's songwriting is how I like can get the feelings out. The production is hard for me because it's like I have the problem of like, I know what I want, but I cannot explain it, and I just need to hear it, and it's just kind of hard to put into words like how someone can get closer to what you hear in your head if you don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, having the language, like the technical language, so to speak.
Yeah,
okay.
There's definitely a language barrier in production for me.
Well, so that was working through the EP then for the course of the past 6 months or so prior to the record coming out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And just a lot of staying at home and just waiting for this project to come out. I'm very excited that it's here.
It's finally here. I love it.
It felt like it was never gonna come out just because I'm like, I literally thought I was gonna like decompose in my family's basement. Like I could not be there anymore.
I want to talk to you real quick about American Idol because I'm curious. I know that you have a very Disney oriented family and that's where you auditioned and all of that, correct?
Yes,
Conceived, I think you told me, on the property.
yes, yes. I was my claim to fame.
Well, you told me before, and I didn't ask a follow-up question, but you sent in an audition tape to them, right? Over like on an online audition?
Yes.
What was the song that you sent to them? Do you remember?
The same song I sang at Disney World. It was Ride by 21 Pilots, but it was this jazzy version I
Okay.
made. And the video I sent exactly the same version I sang, and like I was exactly acting the same way, and I didn't get paid.
Have you ever told them that?
Yes, I literally remember second season I visited to say hi to the producers, and I literally said, "You guys rejected my online audition. Like, look it up." And then I saw them pull up like the little where they have all the submissions, and they searched it in, and there I was there.
Really?
And I was getting emails too because they send you emails like these auditions. They'll send them to everyone who auditioned in the system. Like, hey, season 4 auditions are coming up. You should try again. And I'm like, I was already on the show. I was there.
Wow. So it's just like what, like a bot probably sending stuff out like, hey, you should try out again. We are going to be in Orlando doing auditions.
Yeah, literally what you have to do is just like, if you don't make it on those online auditions, like just try and get them to see you in person.
And then could you audition what with the same song when you came back?
Yes. Yes.
And was that to just their producers? Because
Yeah,
obviously, they show you in front of the judges. And how long
yeah.
after that was the
So
Orlando audition?
so it was before. So it goes like I auditioned in August 2017. Oh my God, it's almost my 4-year anniversary. That's so weird. And then I got in,
Uh-huh.
and then they're like, your audition's October. So I auditioned on August 17th, and then my audition was October 4th in front of the judges. And then I had to wait again for Hollywood Week. That was January 21st, 2018. So it was a lot of waiting.
Okay. So you knew you were there, but you had to wait to actually sing in front of them?
Yeah.
Or you knew you were close?
I knew I would get in because I knew I was there. So it was like, and you had to keep it a secret.
I was going to ask, so you couldn't say anything, right?
I did anyway. I did. I told everybody. Like ABC was way stricter with our season because now they'll let contestants post things, and they'll let them post that they were even auditioning, and they're like allowed to be really open about it. All you have to say is tune in to see if I make it. Not allowed to do it. We couldn't even post we were in Hollywood. We couldn't post we were friends with other contestants. It was we had secret names. Like,
what was your secret name?
I was Boba. I was Boba Fett from Star Wars.
Star Wars? How did you get that? Did you choose it?
Everybody had Star Wars names, and if you were a minor, you had to bring a parent. So I was Boba Fett, and my father was Jango Fett.
Weird.
Yeah, I'm like, why did I not get like Prince, like Leia or something?
Right.
That's fine. I'll take him. I'll take him.
So then you just wait around, and then you go to Hollywood. It's funny that do you feel? I don't know, but maybe the ratings has something to do with they want people to pump it up online now. I don't know.
Maybe. I just know that I didn't follow any of the rules. I told literally what happened is because I got in a fight with somebody the day before I So I got in a fight with someone at my school on Tuesday
Uh-huh.
because I didn't like how they were treating somebody. And I literally called them a really bad word. And
You
I
can
then I
use it
let
on the show. Don't worry about it.
well,
You don't have to.
no,
I'm just saying you
yeah,
don't have to censor yourself.
it was a bad word.
Okay.
And basically on Wednesday is when I auditioned for the show, but I was so tired, so I didn't go to school Thursday, and then I returned to school Friday.
Okay.
And the teacher asked me, Katie, did you really call him the C word? And I was like, oh, no, I would never say that. And they're like, yeah, I know you would never say that. And I was like, actually, I was auditioning for American Idol. So I completely distracted from the situation and avoided
Just
like all,
deflected.
I deflected. And I got to go on stage and tell them how like I'm going to Hollywood and I made it. And I like sat, so like literally the dude I got in a fight with, I just stared at him. And I'm just like, yeah, I get to go to Hollywood. Katy Perry loved me. And I think it was probably on a list of things I've done in my life. I think that ranks up there for one of the pettiest moments.
That's
Yeah.
So then after you tell the teacher that you're going to be on American Idol, they let you announce it to the school from a stage?
Yes.
They held assembly. I
Well,
mean, they just stopped everything and
well,
like, we're going to hold an assembly.
Just my drama class.
Oh, okay. They didn't shut the school down to have an assembly so you could come out and say, okay, everybody, I just want to let you know.
Yeah, but
I'm
I
going to
did
be
tell
on American
everybody,
Idol.
like any teacher, I would tell, every teacher I would tell. And then like what happened is after Christmas break, I was like, guys, I'm going to Hollywood. This is my last day. Goodbye. And they're all like, what? And I just like never came back. And now like no one thought I was gonna make it past Hollywood week. And then it's still like my like evil villain like laugh moment where I'm like, I did make it past Hollywood.
Sure. It's like I showed all of you. Because was there people that were haters on it? I'm sure jealous people, right?
Well, yeah, I in one of my classes, one of the assignments, this is like, whew, still gets me heated. There was an honors choir. Like it wasn't normal choir, it was like the honors like choir. You had to audition to get in. And what they would do as an assignment is they would watch my performances and point out where I went wrong. So they'd be like, she went flat there. And that was what they would do for an entire class. They would point out where I went wrong.
Your flaws, wow, or on the song, just in that whatever you were singing at the time.
Yes.
So then you were like, look, I obviously you don't know what you're talking about. I'm fantastic and I made it onto American Idol and I made it to the top 7 and
want to square up. No, I do not condone violence and I do not fight.
That's
but
good.
Yeah, and then I just you know, kind of wow, like a lot has changed in 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like,
good.
is the siren coming closer? But yeah.
Awesome. Well, I want to talk to you now about the new EP. Obviously, we've been chatting about it a little bit. Heartbroken and Milking It. The video for Therapy is so good. Tell me about this video.
Oh, thank you. I pretty much love this video because I feel like I just got to be myself. I got to dress myself for the first time and like wear glitter rhinestones right here, and I just felt like it was the most authentic thing I've made yet, music video wise, to me, and I loved it.
Yeah, you're the therapist and the person at therapy, right?
Yeah, I'm like the therapist and the person at therapy. I love how I just exactly repeated what you said. Thank you. And
you're welcome.
I just want to hold little signs that's like, bitch, I'm not, go buy some crystals or something.
Yeah, those are some funny ones. The one I thought was really funny was like, time to accept One Direction isn't getting back together.
Yeah, and that really hurt for me to write because I don't think I've accepted that myself.
I know you told me before that you're a big fan of them and Paramore and some of those other
Yes,
bands growing up. Isn't that kind of where your your love or your want to be in the spotlight kind of rock star came from?
yes, because I literally like I yeah, I just wanted to be them so bad, and I wanted to like they just it made it they made it seem so much fun, and
Hmm.
I was like, okay, the closest way I'm gonna ever get to like meeting Niall Horan or Harry or basically anybody is if I too become famous. So I must become famous now to meet them. It was like, so when people are like, musicians are like, I did this solely for the music because I love music. I'm like, I the music, my love for music came second. It was definitely because I'm like, I need to be famous to meet these famous people.
And have you met Niall Horan?
No, so that's why I'm glad the love for music came in. It's like
Okay.
now that's there, and it's getting me through those times of drought of not meeting any of Wonder.
Well, there's still time. There's still time.
I
Um,
know. Hopefully,
what about playing live? Have you had a chance to do any of that yet since the lockdown happened?
no, no. Um, so fingers crossed that you know if the virus decides to not cause us more trouble, and
Right.
maybe things will open back up again. But yeah, I hope to perform live soon. But if I can't, I mean, I've already haven't performed live in over a year, so it's a little bit longer.
Sure. You had a chance to come back onto American Idol, though. Wasn't that pretty recently? Was that during the COVID stuff?
Yeah, filming for that was during November, so it was like during the probably the like worst like in that winter time where like cases were like 100,000 a day.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and they did really good though. At like it was like very professional, and like it was like probably like the safest place probably to be. Like it was very like well handled
Hmm.
and everything. The only awkward part is it aired after the breakup.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it was fine because I was just like, at least I look good. That's what I
You
set
did, and
myself.
you
I'm
did
like,
you did really well. I mean, you sounded great. And
oh,
Katy
thank
Perry
you.
made some really backhanded comments to your ex-boyfriend. I was pretty shocked when I watched it. I was like, wow, she really isn't being very nice to this guy.
I I I simply say to that, she just knew. She knew she could sense the future. Um, you know, I think she just knew something that I didn't at the time. So
Uh-huh.
thank you, Katy Perry.
I'm glad it went this way because I was gonna ask you about that, wondering if like you had like if you're frustrated with her because of the kind of mean things she said to him, but now you're probably looking back like like you just did. You love her.
Oh
That's
yeah,
funny.
they didn't air some of like the worst stuff. They said they
Really?
said like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There was like, oh, there was like some thing, and at the time I definitely was like, oh, like that was mean. That
Uh-huh.
was a little mean. But then afterwards, I'm like, yes, you should have went harder. Yes.
Oh, that's funny. Well, what do you have you been writing new songs? You got new songs coming out soon or not soon because you just released the EP, but maybe.
Yeah. Don't be greedy. I do have new songs, and I'm working on putting together like another project and getting what I get, just getting like, it's like the drawing board of like what I'm seeing for that future project. But right now, I will not share any details. So people stream what they already have. Heartbroken
Right.
and
Yeah,
Milking
it's
It.
new and it's great. And
Oh,
let them
thank
soak that up
you.
for a while, right?
Yeah, but there's definitely that part where I'm like so impatient. I'm like, if it was up to me, I'd be like, okay, next one, let's go. Let's everyone, let's out now. But I will let this soak and like simmer for a bit. But um, just writing new songs and living my life and trying to be the main character of my life.
I like it. Do you enjoy living in LA?
Yeah, I like the fact that like I feel accepted here. Like I'm not the weird one here, because here we all kind of buy overpriced rocks, and we're like, no, like we're improving as people. If, if we just like literally hold rocks and like this is raising my vibe. So like I feel very seen here, and also like matcha. It's so good. I love it.
Just absorbing that LA lifestyle, like it.
Yes.
Very cool. Well, Katie, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always so fun.
Yeah, this has been great. I have one more question for you. You
Yes.
answered this before, but I wonder if I'll get a different answer, maybe the same. Who cares? If you have any advice for aspiring artists.
My advice, I don't know if I said this last time. Maybe I did, or I'll just repeat myself.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Basically, I have 2 words, and this will make you survive. And maybe it can be applied to just life in general, but how you're going to survive the music industry is patience and kindness. That's all you need. And you have to, because, being patient can suck. But that's where the kindness comes in, because everybody, even if you're taking longer than others, if you really want it, there's always a space and a spot for everybody. So it's being patient and kind while you wait for your time to come. And kindness too is important, because if the light tech or something on a set can end up being like your boss one day, and they'll remember that. So just always be patient and always be kind, and just know that if you want something and put the work into it, you're going to get it no matter how long it takes. It will happen.